OTAs yesterday from what I heard, and I talked to 20 people that were there.
Yeah.
Consensus best quarterback, Joe Flacco.
Okay.
Consensus second best quarterback, Shedeur Sanders.
Wow.
Well, now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
And so here we go again, back with another one. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And so I want to do a quick follow-up about OTAs and about people talking about what happened at OTAs the other day. And it looks like Shedeur Sanders came in there and he did exactly what he was supposed to do, which is make the most of his opportunities.
Quarterback at OTAs yesterday from what I heard, and I talked to 20 people that were there.
Yeah.
Consensus best quarterback, Joe Flacco.
Okay.
Consensus second best quarterback, Shedeur Sanders.
Wow.
Consensus third, Dylan Gabriel. Consensus worst player at OTAs, Kenny Pickett.
Aaron, that is your narrative. Chris, get the hell out of here.
And so we got individuals saying that Shedeur Sanders was the second best quarterback yesterday. But when you look at the numbers, it's hard to say that he was the second best quarterback because I got the tracker right here. And Joe Flacco was solid yesterday. Just looking at the numbers, he was 9-14 with 1 touchdown. As a veteran quarterback, a Super Bowl veteran quarterback, somebody who's seen just about everything, he did what he was supposed to do. He came in there, minimized his mistakes, and did the most with his opportunities. But then you got Shedeur Sanders, who had the least amount of throws the other day, only 9 throws, but had 7 completions. And then on top of that, had not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns on the day with 0 interceptions. And then when we look at Kenny Pickett, he was 9-16 on the day, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Not very sharp. And we got Dylan Gabriel. He came in there and looked like a rookie. He was 11-16 on the day, which is solid. That's an okay day. But then he had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And so he looked like a rookie. He probably looked like the second or third best quarterback, just looking at the numbers. But Shedeur Sanders, like I said, 7-9 with 3 touchdowns. You want to talk about efficiency? It doesn't get any better than that. And so he's looking like he's doing exactly what he left off doing at Colorado and what a lot of us saw him doing at Colorado, which was being accurate with the football and taking care of the football. And so by Shedeur Sanders not going in the first 4 rounds, but going in the 5th round, kind of put Shedeur Sanders in this underdog situation in which he has to go out and try to prove himself. Although he was a first-round talent, he was a first-day talent, no doubt about it. By the majority of the scouts, everybody who watched college football, everybody who watched Colorado, know that Shedeur Sanders was a first-round talent. But because the Cleveland Browns elected to wait to draft him into the 5th round and drafted a quarterback before him in the 3rd round, it made a bigger story than if Shedeur Sanders had been drafted in the 1st round. And shout out to Joe Flacco, because Joe Flacco gave a pretty candid and solid answer in reply to if it's his job to be a mentor or what his mentor role is going to be for these young quarterbacks.
Because it's a good question to bait somebody into answering, and no matter how they answer it, it kind of makes the guy that's answering it look bad. If I say I don't want to be a mentor, I look bad. If I say I do want to be a mentor, then I look like an idiot that doesn't care about being good and playing football. I tend to try to be honest, and I've said I'm not a mentor. I play football. There's learning experiences, and I have a lot of experience, and I can talk on things, and hopefully they listen. But it's not necessarily like my job to like make sure they listen to me.
And I thought that was probably one of the most candid responses that I've seen from a quarterback or from an NFL player in general, especially one that's in competition with 3 other guys. It's not his job to be a mentor. He's not trying to be a mentor. He's got a job to do. He's trying to go out there and win a job so he can help provide for his family. That's his job. He's not done yet. By his account, he's got something left in the tank, and so he's got something left to prove. And he's just being honest. He could have went out there and said, yeah, I'm going to try to mentor these guys and take them under my wing, you know, the usual stick. But he didn't do that. He gave an open and honest answer, and I can appreciate that. I can respect that. And I know the guys in that locker room can respect that. And so it seems like there's a pretty open relationship with those guys in that locker room. And that's going to go a long way, especially for these young guys. Because sometimes, as everybody knows, no matter what job it is, no matter what profession it is, sometimes you get those people that say they're going to take on a mentor role and they tell you this and tell you that when all along they're telling you the wrong thing, or they're not telling you everything. And they're making it seem like they have your best interest when in reality, they're trying to take your job. And so a lot of people respected what Joe Flacco said. A lot of people respected that. But aside from that, like I said, just looking at the stats, I thought Shedeur won the day. I don't see how a quarterback doesn't win the day when he only has 9 attempts and he has 7 completions with 3 touchdowns. I don't see how that quarterback doesn't win the day. But that's my take on it anyways. Go ahead and try to keep the conversation going on down below, as you guys usually do. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And as usual, peace and chaos.